The Utah Jazz take on the Denver Nuggets, 1:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off. The Nuggets are minus 4.5, totals 215 and a hook. The Jazz are plus 150 for an outright win. And if you like Utah catching the 4.5, they're minus $1.10 to cover the point spread. I'm currently hitting at 61%. My last 28 NBA tier package plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. I've also hit 3 out of my last 4 extra daily picks on that site as well. For more information on how you can join in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, Utah's in the top 10 in offensive field goal percentage, top 3 in shooting the 3-ball. They won nearly 60% of their games away from home this year. They're currently led by Donovan Mitchell, who scores 24 points a night, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Rudy Gobert is also averaging 15 a game, along with 14 rebounds. The Jazz also rank in the top 10 in points allowed on average per game, top 5 in defensive rebounding. Now, they are taking on a Denver team who'll unfortunately have to go to work today without Barton and Harris. Also keep an eye on Michael Porter Jr. as he's been listed as questionable for today's action as well. Now, the Nuggets covered just 47% of their games away from home this season. They're also currently on a 3-game losing streak while also dropping 4 out of their last 5. Now, the Nuggets surprisingly rank in the bottom half of the league in scoring, bottom half in offensive rebounding as well. They've also failed to cover the point spread in 8 out of their last dozen conference games. Now, total-wise, Denver's last 8 straight ball games went over the posted total. Meanwhile, 5 out of the Jazz last 6 games got over the number themselves. So with all that said and done, give me the Underdog Jazz plus 4.5 and the over 215 and a hook in that game. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the video. Got some lines and personal leans out for Monday's NBA basketball action, NBA playoff basketball action. Happy Monday to you. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend. Now, before we go ahead and move on with more free content here on YouTube, I just have to quickly remind you once again that we are 3-1 in our last 4 extra daily pick tier package plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. We're also hitting at 61% in our last 28 NBA tier package plays on that site as well. If you want some more information on how you can join in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. And moving on, we're going to take a look at the Brooklyn Nets versus the Toronto Raptors, 4 p.m. Eastern start time. The Raptors are the 10-point favorite. No real surprise there as they come into this game as the double-digit favorite. Numbers 222 even. The Nets are plus 475 for an upset win. And if you like Brooklyn to cover, they're plus $1 catching the 10 points. This absurdly depleted Brooklyn squad won just 41% of their games away from their home court this season. The Nets are in the bottom half in scoring on average per game, bottom 5 in three-point percentage. They've dropped 8 out of their last 10 head-to-head meetings with the Raptors. And they have actually won just 2 out of their last 20 games with Toronto. Good for 10% during that stretch. And, of course, that's over the course of the past couple of seasons. The Nets also struggled defensively. They're in the bottom 3 in defensive rebounding away from home. Bottom 3 in shooting the 3-ball on the road as well. They're taking on a Toronto team who they've won their last 4 straight games, and they covered 80% of their ball games in their last 10. Now, keep in mind, Ibaka, Anunoby, and Brissett are all questionable. Keep an eye on those guys. Having said that, though, Toronto went 27-9 straight up away from home this season and covered nearly 60% of their games on the year. Pascal Siakam's averaging 23 a night, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Kyle Lowry's also scoring 19 a game, 5 rebounds, 8 assists for him. And, of course, we can't forget about Freddie VanVleet, 18 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals. Now, the Raps are in the top 5 in three-point percentage, top 3 in points allowed. They're giving up just 106 points per contest on the season. Now, total-wise, oddly enough, 3 out of Toronto's last 5 got over the posted total. Meanwhile, the Nets on the other side saw 5 out of their last 8 get over the number themselves. Brooklyn's 80% to the over in their last 5 versus the Atlantic Division. Give me the Raptors minus 10 in the over 222 in that contest. Next game, Sixers, Celtics, 6:30 p.m. East. The Celtics are minus 5.5. Totals 218, slightly juiced to the over. The Sixers are plus $2 for an upset win. And if you like Philly plus 5.5, they're catching even money to cover the point spread. Now, Simmons and Robinson are still out for the Sixers. Philly's failed to cover the point spread in 5 out of their last 8. And they also won just 31% of their games away from home this season. Even worse, they covered just 28% of their games away from home as well. Not doing very good away from the friendly confines. They're just 5-18 straight up as the underdog this season. They also rank in the bottom 10 from the stripe, bottom 10 in scoring away from home as well. The Celtics on the other side, they went 5-2 straight up in their last 7 in the bubble. Actually played some spirited basketball while in the bubble, unlike several other teams that are in the playoffs here. Now, keep an eye on Tice and Langford, as both men are listed as questionable for today's action. But despite that, this Boston team has won 61% of their games away from home, and they covered the point spread in nearly 70% of those contests. They're 38-12 when favored, top 10 in the league in scoring. Jason Tatum scoring 23 a night, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Kemba Walker's also dropping 20 a game, 4 rebounds, 5 assists for him. And don't forget about Jaylen Brown, 20 points for him as well, 6 rebounds, couple assists for Jaylen. Boston's successfully covered the number in 6 out of their last 10 head-to-head meetings with Philly. This Boston team, they also currently rank in the top 10 in offensive rebounding, top 3 in points allowed. Now, total-wise, just 2 out of Boston's last 6 got over the total. Boston also went just 44% to the over away from home this season. Meanwhile, on the Philly side, they went just 44% to the over in their games away from the Wells Fargo Center themselves. So with all that said and done, give me the Celtics minus 5.5 and the under 218 in that game. All right, next and final matchup for the show, it is going to be Mavericks-Clippers, 9 p.m. East. The Clippers are the 6-point favorite. Total's 229 and a hook. The Mavs are plus $2 for an upset win. And if you like Dallas to keep this one close, they are minus $1.10 to cover the 6. Now, Lee, Powell, Cauley-Stein, and Brunson are still out for Dallas. Kristaps Porzingis is also listed as questionable with a foot injury. He'll probably end up playing, but he is on the report. But anyway, the Mavs have covered just 25% of their last 8 ball games. They've also been victorious in only 10 out of 24 contests when catching plus money. The Mavs rank in the bottom half of the NBA in offensive field goal percentage, bottom half in defensive rebounding. They've dropped 7 out of their last 10 head-to-head meetings with the Clippers, and they went just 1-6 ATS in their last 7 conference games. They are taking on a Clippers squad who ranks in the top 5 in the league in scoring, top 3 in offensive rebounding. Kawhi Leonard scoring 27 a game, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and a couple of steals. Paul George is scoring 22 a game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. And Montrezl Harrell, he is scoring 19 a game, along with 7 rebounds. Now keep an eye on Beverly and Shamet, as both men have been listed as questionable for today's action. But regardless, the Clippers covered nearly 60% of their games away from home this season. They also went 44-15 straight up when favored. They rank in the top 10 in shooting the 3-ball, top 3 in defensive field goal percentage. Really lock you down there. Now, total-wise, 5 out of LA's last 6 ball games got over the posted total. Dallas, on the other side, went 59% to the over for the season, 4-1 to the over in their last 5. Give me the LA Clippers minus 6 and the over 229.5 in that game. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you decide to sign up for a package here today, just keep in mind, we bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.